And welcome everybody to the glorious episode of the Student Body Rights USC podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Douglas, and I am podcasting on the beautiful shores of the Pacific Ocean. Beautiful day out here in Southern California. PORSBR.bsky.social, where you can find me. Trying to move from X over to there. So check me out there. Um, we have a guest on our show, a really good USC content creator, Preston's Paradise out there. You can see him on YouTube, see him other places as well. Preston, how you doing today?
Great, great. Appreciate you for having me, Dwayne. I'm very excited to be on this podcast. So yeah, man, let's talk about USC football and what's going on.
Uh, I know it's tough. It's tough. But let's start off real quick about the CFP real quick, if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts about it? I guess Alabama president came out and said they got to make all these changes because strength of schedule. I mean, but considering that there were three touchdown favorites against Vanderbilt, three touchdown favorites against Oklahoma, I'm not sure
Yeah.
what they're actually talking about.
Well, I mean, let's not lie. Like we all saw this coming. We
Yes.
all saw that even when you expanded to 12 teams, that somebody was going to
Yes.
be crying at the end of the year. Like,
Exactly.
and the SEC won. I mean, you had Tennessee, and Georgia still looks like one of the best teams in America, even after that game yesterday. With a backup quarterback coming in there and making things shake, and them being able to take down, Texas. Um, I just think you win games at the end of the day.
Yeah.
If you win your games, if you win who's in front of you, regardless. If look at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Notre Dame people hate me, but at the end of the day, I can't really hate much on Notre Dame. They had one of the lightest schedules in America, but took care of business. They had one slip up, but other than that, they took care of business and they snuck in at number 7. So yeah, man, I think that the CFP is fine. Just win games, play football, and you'll be in the dance.
Yeah, no question about it. I totally agree, and I think even you know some of the, I mean, Clemson took care of business. Like all these teams won
Yep.
games, so you got to give them credit for it. And if like I said, Vegas is smart. When Vegas puts a line out and says you're 3 touchdowns better than somebody, you should. I'm not saying you win the game by three touchdowns, but you should actually win the game. Like I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. I got nothing about that. So, the heart attack of the if you were in a Raiders, if you're in a USC chat or just talking to friends about the recruiting. So to fans, they're stomping their foot, unacceptable, all these things. But then when you look at some of the national guys, they're saying that our logo is up there as far as some of the teams who did the best. They end up getting Jakeem Stewart, which was a guy who I think for sure USC definitely wanted.
Yeah.
And then you also get Longstreet, all the stuff like that. Defensive line, offensive line, name of the game. And as far as that goes, what were your thoughts about what Lincoln Riley and company did with the recruiting class of 2025?
It's an interesting class, right? Because I end the day, even I mean last week, early signing day, and even until this point, I'm very satisfied and happy with the defensive recruiting class, the offensive recruiting class, the pieces that we got, the potential that a lot of these kids have. I believe we got a lot of underrated players. A lot of these experts on these scouting sites, downgrade a lot of guys within our class. But I'm very satisfied, very happy, especially based on the season that we just had.
Yeah.
But I understand because I am a fan. We're all fans. Like,
Yep.
look at what the class was, right? That when you see, you got two what 5-star guys go to Florida. You got a 5-star wide receiver that ends up at Texas A&M. And then just all the California, the kids in your backyard that are scattered all over the country, that we're watching last night with Georgia, with Frazier from Compton, California, a modern day kid. It just sucks, because you could have had really a legendary recruiting class, but a good recruiting class and some that I'm very happy about moving forward.
What is the deal with, like, it seems like you have like the solution is at home in the house, but you're still traveling everywhere else. Like I get the defensive lineman part of it. Some of those
Mm,
guys don't grow out here in California.
yeah.
But it seems like letting people leave San Diego and go to Notre Dame, stuff like that. I mean, I just don't understand what is, and like I think they somebody put out that thing where I think this class is like 40%, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody else has been way above 50% as far as getting California kids. What are your thoughts about like Lincoln is and kind of the inability to take advantage of what he already has at home, because the 2026 class in California, I can tell you, is loaded.
Yeah, yeah, and it's looking good for us in 2026. In regards to Lincoln, even a guy like Dennis Simmons, who's been with Lincoln, the wide receiver coach, the coaching career. My father was a college basketball coach. Like it's very relational. So Lincoln coming out of that region in Texas and stuff like that. I think he's so invested and used to going to those high schools, used to having those relationships with those, high school coaches, those high school programs. And his pipelines are in Texas and in those areas. So I think it's good, man. I think it's bad that he's not expanding and realizing that he is the coach at University of Southern California, and this is cold. This is a very crucial time, particularly for him and the program. That he's got to snap out of it. He seems like he's doing it a little bit, but I just think it's been a little too late. So hopefully at this point now he's able to hit on a guy like Hassan and Matai, some of these other high rated guys out of the state. They could understand that, man. There's a bunch of talent out here. You don't got to go all the way to Georgia and recruit a kid when he's a sophomore, and then you end up losing him, 6 months later, and then
Exactly.
you're on the phone with the kid. It's just a waste of time for everybody. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Mike Vrabel had a story about why he left college football at Ohio State, when he was saying
Mm-hmm.
that he's at home with his family chilling, and then the recruit calls him, and he's like, "Damn, I know you're going to Georgia. Why are you calling me?" So he opens up the
Exactly.
stadium, opens up the shoe, all the stuff like that for him, and then he's like, "Okay, fine, whatever." Kids leaves, and then like 2 weeks later, he announces that he's going to Georgia. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like, it's just like, I get, like, listen, use Coach Henning's ability in Louisiana. You use some of that ability that other coaches have, but you got to get some of the California kids to stay. And they should be good. There should be like at least 60%.
Yeah.
At least 60% as far as that goes. Let's see here. Let's see here what's next. I forgot was actually next about so the transfer portal
Mm-hmm.
is getting really hot and heavy now. So like, what do you like? Just the rumors and stuff like that. Like, what would be
Yeah.
what would be the death blow for because we
Hey.
already we have Eldridge left, Miller Moss left.
Yeah.
Some of the guys who left right now are just guys who are kind of expected to leave. Like we have a bunch of tight ends, so I can see why Eldridge would leave,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. But I think that wide receiving core, people were really worried about some of those guys stepping out.
I'm very frightened. Jacoby Lane, man. Jacoby Lane, that would kill me, right? Jacoby Lane's my favorite player on this team, my favorite player on offense. Dynamic receiver. That these receivers did not play football last. This sophomore class did not play football last year, other than Zach, right?
Yeah.
Deuce got a couple snaps. Jacoby was not really in the game. Obviously, Makai had to play DB a little bit last year.
Yeah.
But they've progressed in their sophomore year. Jacoby has what, like 8, 9 touchdowns this year.
Yeah, it is a lot.
Obviously, Zach is the piece where that is something that I could see happening. I don't hope it happens. I would love to keep Zach Branch. People have been talking. I've spoke on
I mean,
what the issue is. I think he can figure it out. I'd like to see him figure it out here than see him figure it out somewhere else. That's how I feel
yeah,
about
but I mean, he led the team in targets. Like, I don't
it.
know,
Yeah.
like, I mean, I don't know how else. What I mean, here's my thing: is like, what team is he going to go to where he's going to lead that team in targets? Like, you
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? Like, where they're trying to get him the ball as much as they can. I know the touchdown numbers were not where he wanted to be. I think he's only got in the end zone one time this
Yeah.
year. Maybe even take him off of,
Which is criminal though. That is criminal,
it,
man.
it is criminal, but it is
Uh,
not as easy. Well, he did drop a couple.
exactly. It's a
But
two-way street.
yeah. So it's a two-way street. But like, I mean, to me, it's just like, I don't know, like, what more he could want as far as that goes. I do think that Zion should have just like I'm trying to give the defensive coaches the benefit of the doubt, but I just don't want to see 27 on the field. So like,
Mm-hmm.
so I just want to see. I mean,
Yeah.
I really think that Zion could have gotten more time too as well. But I mean, I like if they lose, we'll see what happens. I don't think Makai. I guess according to some of the USC guys that Makai's not going anywhere. I think Makai is the best receiver,
Mm-hmm.
like total receiver in the group. So
Yeah.
the way you feel about Jacoby is the way I feel about Makai. I think Makai can really, but his ability on the kickoffs have really changed
Mm-hmm.
a dynamic for USC as well.
I
But
think Jacoby and Makai are definitely the jewels that you want to hold on to. Even Deuce, right? The Zach Branch thing is interesting because I feel like we have a lot of guys coming in this recruiting class that have that athleticism, that electricity that a Zach Branch possesses in terms of speed and game breaking ability. Whereas with the other guys, Makai's more all around, and the other guys are bigger, more possession guys. So yeah.
yeah, and I would say too is like what Lincoln too was. I think that's one thing that I wish it's not going to change because coaches are stubborn and they're going to do what they want to do. But I just wish just those four guys are your main guys, and everybody else can eat later. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like watching the games last night, like these receivers don't come out the game. They
Yeah,
they stay in the game every play, every play. Unless you saw Isaiah Bond was pissed off he had to come out the game. Like they stay in. We got to come to that where these guys are getting targets or getting receptions because we know how the wide receiver position is. I mean, it's the most selfish position on the football field. Like they're
yes,
the furthest away from the ball, but they think it's all about them. And they're trying to get their numbers, but that class, man, particularly that recruiting class in general, losing a Tackett Curtis, losing a Malachi, even though we know what's gone on with his career at
yeah.
Boise State, like
Mhm.
that hurts, man. That was a big time recruiting class for Lincoln Riley, and if we lose more of them this year, then it's gonna hurt a
Yeah,
lot.
I mean, I do think. I mean, this is kind of the state of college football right now.
Yeah.
As far as that goes. You see a bunch of receivers left Alabama today.
Mm.
So it just is, and that position is like there's not that many great passing offensive teams out here for all these receivers. Like I mean, they got this. Sometimes it's just you got to stay where you at, develop, and then you'll get. If you're really good, you're gonna get to the league, bro. Like it's just
Yeah.
really it's not really about all that other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's see here. So as far as the 2024 season, what was the biggest? Give me your biggest shining moment, and then obviously and probably the most disappointing
Yeah.
moment of the season because I mean there were plenty I guess on both I guess on
Yeah.
especially on the disappointing side.
Yeah, I mean, guy, it sucks I have to say this, but it's September 1st against against LSU, man,
Yeah,
for USC. Like it was just,
uh,
everybody talking down on us all summer about how we weren't physical, how we are gonna get destroyed, we weren't gonna show up for the fist fight. Coming out there in Vegas against a big scary SEC opponent that everybody thought was just gonna run over us, and
mhm.
we took care of business, and there's some amazing plays in that game that just showcase the type of players we have on this team. And it was just a great night, man. I'll truly never forget that night. It was a great statement for the program. Unfortunately, I wish we could have kept that momentum, but didn't happen, obviously. And the saddest or worst moment, I gotta say Maryland, man. I gotta say I don't know if I could say Maryland or Minnesota. It has to be Maryland or Minnesota because it's just like why are we losing to Maryland in
Yeah.
football? Why is USC losing to Maryland in football? That was just embarrassing. That was probably for sure the most embarrassing moment for me this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like the overall, like, I think the thing that really bothered me the most about this season was Lincoln's kind of unwillingness to run the football
Mm-hmm.
especially when like we had a really good dynamic running game. Like they were really good. I mean, they like Woody was really. It's a shame that Woody's not going
7 yards a carry. I think
to.
what top in the Big Ten in terms of yards per carry.
Yeah, I mean, like, and it's just like, bro, like, I mean, just bring the balance.
Yeah.
Just bring the balance. I never understand. I don't understand that part of it. I don't get it. I mean, even I think the Minnesota coach said they were just going to be patient because when the game was on the line, they were going to throw the football. And I
Mm-hmm.
was just like, and I keep thinking about that 3rd and 4. That I think it was 3rd and 3 or 3rd and 4, where like just run the ball twice. So what he's going to get the first down, and
Yeah.
we take a sack, fumble, interception, and then next thing you know, that's it. Like the game's over. So
That's how I feel. And now that I'm kind of in this space making content about USC, there's certain videos and certain things I won't talk about because I feel like it may harm just the program. Even though I'm just a small fry, I'm nothing too important or
yeah,
crazy,
yeah,
but I fear things at times. And when you talk about not running the ball, this is something I haven't really spoken on, right? Obviously you watch the UCLA game.
yes,
End of the game, Makai throws that pass, wide receiver pass down the field. I think Kyron caught the
Hudson,
ball. I
yeah,
believe, yeah, Kyron Hudson catches the ball.
mm-hmm.
You have a first down right there.
Yeah,
Don't and I know you probably I know a lot of people are like, okay, Lincoln, run the ball.
mm-hmm.
Lincoln opts not to run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Mayava snaps it, runs around, turns around, finds Jacoby doing scramble drill in the back of the end zone for the touchdown. Great touchdown, great play. We win the game.
Yeah.
But I think Lincoln is just spoiled by the type of athletes and the talent that he's had in those situations where
Mm-hmm.
he just feels like, oh, my guys can get it done. And we got it done that night. But he should have ran the ball on that first down. That was not a high percentage play by
No.
Mayava and
Yeah.
Jacoby. It was a great play. I'm happy it happened.
I
But
think yeah, to that point too. Like, how many fades did they call in that game in the red zone? And then I think Doug Belk accidentally liked one and unliked the tweet about that
yeah,
too as well. Oh, it's just like bro, like I mean, you have the ability to have. I mean, like it's almost like caring how you win instead of winning. Just win the game, dude. Like
yeah.
nobody cares, dude, how you win the game. We don't care how you win the game. We just want
No.
you to win the game, because like some of these losses are just like are really bad, are awful as that goes.
Yeah, gotta be better.
He mentioned about the about Notre Dame.
Mhm.
Is the game? Do you want the? I mean, do you want the game to continue? The rivalry with Notre Dame. I
I
mean,
do. I like Notre Dame. Notre Dame fans. I like fighting with Notre Dame fans. I've been out to Notre Dame. I like the Notre Dame game. I think it's big in my fandom of
yeah,
USC. Watching that game as a kid, I watched the Bush Push game when I was like 12 or 13 or whatever, and
yeah,
or not 12 or 13. I'm sure, yeah, like 12. And yeah, I think the rivalry should continue. I don't like that Notre Dame isn't in a conference. I don't
yes.
like that, but I would like to continue to play Notre Dame.
Yeah, I think for me, it's more along the lines of if we weren't now that we're in the Big Ten,
Yeah.
if they want to take a little bit of hiatus from the game, I wouldn't bat an eye.
Uh-huh.
I still like the rivalry with little brother more so. It's more to my heart. The great color
UCLA.
game between UCLA, but like to me, it's just like they're like them playing us playing that game on top of the guys
Yeah.
the teams we already play. I think at some point you do have to like I mean you got to kind of think about yourself. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you gotta
It's
preserve yourself a little bit. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
it's
so
it's the athlete. It's like, on Twitter
it's the
there's a lot of
competitor in us that wants to keep the game going. But
exactly.
I can
Yeah.
see like I would not be I would understand if they were like, hey bro, like you know what, you guys aren't in our conference. Like we wish you would join the Big Ten because you'd be our biggest rival, but like
Mm-hmm.
you're not gonna join the conference. So like in that case, and most years USC helps Notre Dame strength of schedule
Exactly.
in
Yeah.
most years. So it's like we're helping them. We're not getting the benefit of beating you. So
So lose
like
lose. Yeah.
it's a lose.
Exactly.
It's kind of a lose lose as far as that is. The season started in Vegas. It ends in Vegas on the Vegas Bowl against
Texas A&M.
Texas A&M, another SEC opponent. What are your thoughts about that game? A game close to home for them. Should be pretty raucous because
Mm.
they're going to travel regardless. I mean, because
Yeah.
you've seen them 100,000 people who go to the Texas A&M games every, every
Yeah.
every week, so it should be fun there. What are your thoughts about that?
Thoughts about it are, who are we gonna have out there? That's my first thought. Because if we're having our team, from mid season, or even our team from the Notre Dame game, I'm like, all right, let's go, let's play them. I'm always confident. I'm a competitor. At the end of the day, I'm competitive. I will never say, oh, I'm scared to play Oregon, or I'm scared to play this. Nah, man, we could beat anybody. I truly believe that most of the time. But I have to see who we have out there. I have to see who's on the team, who's gonna opt out. There's just so much rumors and stuff going around, man, that sometimes within the last 48 hours, I've had to step away from Twitter because
I get you. I understand. I understand. I understand. Anytime we get an update, you get worried about it. Last question I would be is like, you want to see them. There are some talented quarterbacks in the portal. Jaden Mayava, has he done enough for you to say that you can go forward with maybe like just like a Luke Jensen kind of like third string backup, and then go ahead with him and Longstreet?
I feel pretty good about Mayava. I think he did some really great things against Notre Dame, one of the best defenses in the country. Obviously, it was having a great game until the interceptions happened. So I feel great about Mayava. If you were to ask me today, I would say let's bring in, a younger quarterback that is willing to sit. I don't think we need to bring in somebody that wants to be a starter or is going to truly challenge him. I don't have an issue with Longstreet coming in, even though because he is coming in a little early to be the backup of Mayava. But the bowl game will be a big time evaluation for me as well. So I can't 100% say that I'm all in him, because if he goes out in the bowl game and has a terrible showing, then I'm gonna feel differently. That's just facts. But,
yeah.
And then what you said in regards to Longstreet, is there another question?
I mean, no, I mean, just like, I mean, you feel good. You feel good with going in with Long, because if Mayava comes back, then it's Mayava, then Longstreet, and then whatever third string quarterback they have come in. So
yeah, I mean, it's so hard right now in this current time with the portal, because there's not a lot of guys in there that are truly elite. And most of the time there's not very few guys in there that are elite. If we're really being honest, that's why they're in the portal. Because if they were doing fantastic, they wouldn't be there.
Exactly.
But Longstreet, I feel good. I'm very encouraged by the fact that he's an early enrollee, and he's gonna get bowl game rep. I know Tim Prangley told me that he's seen him at practice and stuff like that. So
he wanted he wanted to be a Trojan more than Juju, which was clear. I'm not sure why we went all the way to Georgia to try to get Juju to come over here. So that makes sense. So Tim, the work you do with Tim is really good. I really enjoy it. So
appreciate it,
good times there. And I talk to Tim on text every once in a while. So and I'm sure he'll be out there in Vegas as well too. So all right, Preston's Paradise. You can see it on YouTube. A USC content, more and more for you. So hopefully the nerves will settle in, and this team will be this team will be ready to go.
Hope so.
And no big losses here for SC in the portal. And then there are, but on the flip side, there are some pieces that they need right now. So hopefully that defense and offensive line, because in the Big Ten, that's where these games are won, on the defense and offensive line. All right, Preston,
sure.
Fight on, brother.
Thank you, man. Fight on. Appreciate you.
Take care.
Right. You too.